Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. This is Talk TV Africa. There's updates that we need to dish out to hearing of every viewers of all over the world, if I'm not mistaken. There's something that is happening, and that um, has been happening for over before this our generation, if I might quote, and it's like that forever. Here in Africa, we have what it takes, what we can call a pure disease. We can call it issue that are affecting our thinking, affecting self-individuals, because we've seen that system like that for over many years before we were born, and nobody's questioning such an wrong action from our leaders or from our parents, from our people we meet on earth. What is that? The thing is this. In Africa, you hear about these three things I'm going to mention. I will put it in a simple English that many thousands of souls can have access to it. They will tell you you were born. You were supposed to burn somebody. The second one is that a child brings something while he's coming on earth. Like, what are they saying? Maybe probably if you give birth to a child, you could be locked. If you are not having anything doing at a particular, your income or your job you're doing could be successful. That is two. Third is, don't forget, you're gonna get old, and there will be somebody for you to bank back on. We are talking about family. We're talking about situation in Africa generally. There's one thing you need to go and learn. Africans generally, we have thousands of souls, thousands of people leaving Africa down to developing areas all over the world, either West Africa, North Africa, Central Africa, or any part of Africa. And they learn every day based on fact that they can see things that's been done in those areas. We're talking about Europe, America, and the rest of other continents. They have way that they do things, and those things work for them. It's not about what we believe, what they believe, or what they. There has been a system that they use, and that system is working for them. Why not Africans dive into that? Why not then learn from that? You will never hear this kind of three things I mentioned earlier from them. But there's a system that each country adopt to help their citizens, help people, the young ones and the old ones from the different countries all over the world. Why not using such method? Like, what are we saying? If you go back to many developing countries, you see that there's a school which a leader of the countries designed for the people of the country to go to enroll and school there without not having a dime. And you get to know that there's a poor people home for the elderly ones. When they get old, they can actually go there and queue in the system that has been in place for them from the government. But here, you will not find such thing. What my elder will keep saying is that born, when you born, a child will bring something, and or when you get old, you will not have someone that could assist. Yes, it's true in Africa. If you don't born in Africa, you will not have anybody to go back to it when you get old. That's the simple truth in Africa, because the system we adopt here is what it gives to us, because there's no way to hide away from it. Because take a look at it in West Africa, for instance. The whole of Africa, we can only mention three countries that have such homes. We're talking about South Africa, which is the highest numbers of old people home. That the old ones can be pushed down to such places, and they will have access to social amenities of life. Are we talking about feeding? Are we talking about caring? Are we talking about clothing? Is being given by their government. Such system has been designed. It's a system. They adopt it. It's never African thing. Why not all African countries adopt such system to bring development, bring a system that could work to Africa? But what they keep giving is what we said earlier. You've been born, you must born, because why? They put that system into us as if it's automatic. That is the only way that Africa can make a progress. That's why in ancient times, we go back to the history, you see that the colonized masters came all the way from their comfort zone to come to Africa to take our people for slave. Because if we are going to have a full details on this, we found out that Africa is the most population in the whole world, apart from China and the rest of them. But if we come to the reality that is telling on us now, you find out that what we do is to mass produce of child in Africa. We don't even sit down at our comfort zone to think of how the ones we've been able to bring to life, how they can make a progress. No, because why? We've been told that when you get old, you will not have assistance from you. That is simple too. Because if you, for instance, if you get old and you don't have a child, for instance, who care for you? The truth is that even if you have 20 people, siblings, they are not going to act six like your child. That's what African is preaching. African is telling every individual, either a female child or male child. But the truth is that we fail woefully to do our primary assignment. And what is their primary assignment? The primary assignment is to care for our unborn child or the one that has been born. We must have a system that works like other people. If there's no system that works, we're going to have this kind of system we're having in Africa, where people will be abandoned, children will be abandoned, because we are just bringing on no faces to life. I'll use the word on no faces. Why I call it on no faces? That you just, all you know how to, because you've been told that you must have a child, you must bring a child to help you when you are getting old. But the simple truth is that true? That's fallacy. That's have nothing to do with yourself. Because that's why you see in Africa, you have a parent that continue catering for child till they get old. At the end of the day, they don't give a sound training to the child. They themselves, they don't get themselves. Because why? The job is on their neck. And it's take them down below 20 feet. And it's consume them. And instead of them to last for some years, their lifespan gets short, because if they keep thinking about the souls, the people they bring to life that have not been functioned, that have not been doing well, that will be their problem. At the end of the day, instead of them to gain what the African have told, the leaders have told us, they will end up losing, because they don't have, Africa doesn't have a structure, and the structure is planning those things to enable the people we bring in to see dividends of life, what their parents have been able to give to them, what they could be able to bounce back to. Those are the things. It's not about what our leaders, our elder ones are saying, because there's no truth in that. There's no simple truth. You go to other developing countries where they have such things, where they pay their citizens, they are good hospitals, there's old people home. When even if you don't have a relatives, you can be taken down there to take care of when you are old. How such lives would see, and how such people live as self individuals. That's what matters. It doesn't matter if you give you give back to 20,000 of child here, or we can as well dive into this situation of people that have a baby factory in Africa. What they do is to give birth to child and sell it off. Is that what everyone have to do? Does it really amount to something? Does it really bring development to our continent? No. We should think deeply and do something that is reasonable and that can bring a good development to Africa. We are looking to this, and I believe everybody that have access to this video would have a question to ask himself, either as a parent or somebody that is planning to have a family tomorrow, that will look into it, that okay, I need a job to do, I need to rethink, I need to improve, I need to do something special for your next generation, for your next look, if I might put it that way. Africa is a high time to wake up from a slumber, from a slumber, because we are sleeping. The leaders are not really helping us. They are not giving us what it takes, what we need to know. The way forward is not being given to us. So we need to research, we need to rethink, we need to improve on our daily lives thinking, how we can make Africa better. That is today's input from Thought TV Africa.